Hey ladies, welcome to Women Win Wednesdays. This month we are celebrating Women's History Month and
National Kidney Month.
I have here my special guest. This is my little sister, Nurse Tanysha Pitts, and she is making history in her own right. She is a spokesperson for the National Kidney Foundation, and not only that, she is also a recipient of a kidney transplant herself. So on this series today, we're going to be talking about how she walked through end-stage renal disease. She's also going to encourage women who are walking through that chronic illness just to let them know and encourage them that they can make it, as well as talk a little bit about what she's doing in the National Kidney Foundation. So thanks so much. Join us next on Women Win Wednesdays. All right, welcome back to the show. Again, I have my special guest, Nurse Tanysha Pitts. She is my little sister, and I had to have her on the show because she is a woman making history in her own right. And like I said before, she's a spokesperson for the National Kidney Foundation. And so we're going to talk a little bit about that and, what her journey looked like as a renal dialysis patient, as well as a organ transplant recipient today. So welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. Hi, guys.
All right, so we're going to just jump right in. We're going to talk a little bit about, what you're doing right now. You are a nurse, so tell us a little bit about your job, what you're doing right now in your career.
Sure. So right now I am a nephrology nurse. I work with patients in dialysis currently. I'm a part of the American Nephrology Nurses Association. Long title.
That just means you're smart, girl.
There you go. And I also just advocating again for the National Kidney Foundation, which takes up a lot of time as well.
Yeah. So you're a nurse, right? In the what department?
Dialysis.
Okay. Mm-hmm. So why did you choose dialysis?
I think because I went through it, so I understand the patients that are going through it. I can have some sort of empathy and sympathy for them. There's more of a connection because I've gone through it. So that's the reason why.
Okay. So, I'm your sister, so I know that you have actually walked through this renal disease. So, I know that it happened when you were very young.
Mm-hmm.
So, how did you, we're going to talk to the audience, tell them, how'd you find out? How were you diagnosed and what happened?
Very interesting story. I was a competitive swimmer, which she hated coming to my swim meets, dreaded them.
It was hot.
Yes, she dreaded coming to my swim meets. But I was in practice, and I was one of the top 5 swimmers on my team. And one of the swimmers lapped me, which means like in track, someone's passing you by. And I knew something was wrong then. Over the summer, I was not feeling well. I was swollen. I was sleeping over the seat of a couch. But when you're a competitor, you're so busy competing and training, you're not worried about your body. You don't listen to your body when you're an athlete.
Okay.
So you just bypass all the aches and pains. You're trying to win. Okay. And I had a certain swimmer in mind that I wanted to smoke, so that was my focus, but I wasn't paying attention to my body at the time.
Yeah.
So finally, when I saw that swimmer lap me, I let mom know I wasn't feeling well, so we went to our doctor. Mm-hmm. They took some blood. Our Dr. Mark actually wasn't there, so it was someone else. Okay. So they took the blood, and my first week, freshman in high school, that's when they found out that both of my kidneys had failed and my heart had doubled in size. And it was from, I had strep throat. I never knew that I had it. So that's how it happened.
So that's how you got the renal disease, right?
Well, it wasn't actually a disease.
Okay.
It was from a virus, the strep, which actually can kill organs. So most people have the diseases, which comes from various things, diabetes, family history, but mine actually came from having strep throat. So I never had a disease I ate healthy. I never really ate candy until recently. So
Andy's candies.
There we go.
All right. So if you have strep throat, some people, if they have strep throat, they don't usually take care of it. They'll take some lozenges. Mm-hmm. And that's not good.
It's not good. And after a period of time, that's where it gets dangerous, because that's where that strep comes through and it starts messing with your organs.
Right.
And then that's where it goes to failure. Yeah.
Wow. So what happened? Like, what did you do? Like, your heart was doubled in size. That sound like that was life threatening.
It was very life threatening. I mean, they pulled me out of, like I said, the first week of high school. That's how serious it was. But thank God, I should have been dead from what the doctor said, but God definitely spared me. But it doubled in size because the kidneys were not functioning, which means the heart had to compensate for what the kidneys weren't doing. And the heart cannot do the job of a kidney. So it was trying to do a job. That's like me trying to be a science teacher, but I'm a gym teacher. So, it's not going to work. So that's where, the problems began because the heart was trying to compensate for what the kidneys couldn't do.
So what do the kidneys do? Like, a lot of people don't understand the importance of what your kidneys do. Like, do you need 2 kidneys? Can you survive without your kidneys?
Kidneys, they get rid of waste, first of all, but they also help with bone production. They help with red blood cell production. It's not just you peeing, for lack of better terms. But you can live with one. A lot of people live with one. I actually know someone that has 3. So you can live with one.
You can't live with 1 kidney.
Correct.
So if somebody were to just, like, some people are like, well, if I have 1 kidney, is that all right? How do you actually take care of your kidneys though? If you have just one functioning.
Seeing a doctor is most importantly. And as I did in my Facebook Live, which I'll do this year as well with different topics, just having that blood work done to see what your status is. It's called a creatinine. To know what that level is, that's what determines what your kidney function is. So even though you have 1, you still want to make sure that one's working, because you have to think about it's doing 2 jobs at once. You don't want to put too much strain on that 1 kidney as well.
Okay. So what happens, like, let's say that, what are some of the symptoms? Like, if somebody's kidney's not functioning, they're like, okay, I'm just kind of feeling weird. Like, what are some symptoms that you possibly could be having some issues with your kidney, or your kidney function is diminishing? What are some of the signs that people should look for?
For me, it was a lot of swelling in my lower legs. Just the full body was swollen because you're not putting that output out. You could have like a metal sort of taste in your mouth because you're becoming septic. Pretty much all the waste in your body,
like toxic.
Toxic, yes.
Woo.
Because all of the waste is still in your body because the kidneys aren't removing it.
The urination. So
correct.
When you urinate, it cleans out your
toxins,
body, right?
Yes.
So if you're not urinating, it's building up in it's like your body is being essentially poison.
Poison,
right?
Correct.
Wow.
So all of those things that you essentially excrete out, it's staying. So and you also have high blood pressure. Because it helps with that as well. So if your blood pressure could possibly be high, it's just a variety of things, but those are the main ones. The swelling, if you notice your urine output isn't as much as it used to be.
Like you're not going to the bathroom.
Correct.
A lot.
That's a telltale sign that something's wrong.
Wow. Okay. So should your urine be a certain color? Is that another indication, or does this mean that you're not drinking enough water?
A variety of things. I mean, if it's very dark, that can be a possible sign. If it has an odor to it, that can be a possible sign. So those are the main ones. You want to make sure it's like light and clear, so not dark, and you want to make sure you don't have protein in the urine. So that's again going to the doctor, having that. It's called a urinalysis. So they just test your urine. So if it's a lot of protein in your urine, that's a cell that you may be losing your kidneys.
Okay. So you had dialysis. So there's different types of dialysis. I know the first type of dialysis you had was what?
Peritoneal.
Okay, and just explain to them what that looks like.
That is an actual catheter in your abdomen. What it does is, and I'm not going to get medical with it. I want people to understand it. There's a catheter in your abdomen, and what it does is it basically fills your abdomen up with sugar water, glucose water. And what that sugar does, it takes all of that waste and then it drains out. So that's peritoneal dialysis, which is the most, it's effective and it's softer on your body.
Okay, so it's okay. So tell me about you did the peritoneal dialysis. So tell me about your first transplant. What was that like? What happened? Like, how did you find out? Because I don't remember. I was a teenager and I was, who knows, doing what. So.
Sheesh. That was so long ago. But I definitely know it was on Styles' birthday. That's my best friend's birthday, her son's. And he was having a party, and I happened to get a call, and I'm like, oh, okay. So I had to just leave right away. So they just call you. You have to have a bag packed at the time, and they just call you, and it's time to go. Whatever you're doing, you have about a couple hours to get there? Yeah.
Yeah. So what was it like receiving that first transplant? You know, what they do? Did they just kind of whisk you in the operating room? Did they prep you? Were you scared? Like, what was that like? Because there's a lot of people that I know that are actually waiting for kidneys. So I did my research.
Okay.
I did my research. So, let me give you my research. So there are over 93,000 people in the United States that are on the wait list for an organ transplant in general.
Yes.
And there's also over 10,000 people, I believe in New York State, I think they're waiting for a kidney. And so we're going to talk about how you can actually donate as well. So, we don't want you to take your organs to heaven. Heaven knows we need them here. So she's going to talk a little bit about that. So tell us about that first transplant. Like, what did they do?
It's more of prep. It's all a blur, to tell you the truth, but I just remember them coming in prepping, and I was having the surgery done. So
yeah,
I don't remember coming out.
Yeah.
And just coming out with the kidney, I guess.
I got a kidney, y'all.
Got a kidney, y'all.
So how'd you feel after you got that kidney? Did you have more energy?
I definitely had a lot more energy. We have a running joke in the family where I didn't urine for about 10 years. So when I finally did, I was calling everyone, come to the bathroom. Yay! And everyone would cheer because I was so happy.
She hadn't urinated in over 10 years. That's a lot. So we were all in the bathroom like, woo!
I did not care. Anyone that will listen, I want you to hear me, please.
So let's talk about the National Kidney Foundation. Well, first of all, let's talk about your new kidney. Let's talk about that because you had a kidney transplant last April.
Correct.
April of 2018. So tell me about that whole scenario.
Well, that one was by surprise because I had just finished the evaluation in February. And normally it's a 3 to 5 year wait. Yeah. So we weren't really expecting. We were just living life as normal. And I received a call in April. The end of February, I was done. And I received a call in April.
Yeah.
In April.
And nobody would answer the phone. So my dad is calling everybody in the family, and he knows I never answer my phone. So I just happened to answer my phone that day, and I'm like, you got a kidney! And everybody was in shock. I ran over to mom's, and they whisked her right away. And I think that is such a blessing because people are waiting 3 to sometimes up to 10 years for a kidney, and that's a blessing.
It's definitely a blessing.
That's definitely a blessing.
Well, actually, this is how it with Brian, my dear brother-in-law. He came in and said, your dad's looking for you. His face was like this, your dad's looking for you. And I'm like, for what? What's going on with my dad?
Right.
They called you for a kidney. And I'm thinking he's lying. And he actually wasn't. They actually were looking for me. So that's, how we found out.
Yeah, he's just calm.
He was very calm.
You can't be calm. You got to get to the hospital.
Yes.
So what is it like having your new kidney? What is it like now? Like, what are some of the things that you could not do, when you didn't have your kidney? And what are some of the things that you can do now?
Most importantly, I'm able to travel. I love to travel. At the time, it was limited. It was 2 to 3 days for the max, and I would have to come back home for dialysis. I have more energy. I'm able to eat whatever I want because on dialysis you have a limited food. You can't eat potatoes or bananas or oranges. Corn is bland, so we can eat corn.
Okay.
But the ones that I really wanted, the potatoes, you couldn't eat those. So.
And orange juice, was it orange juice?
Orange juice too, correct.
Wow. All right. Okay, so what else? Now, you are also a spokesperson for the National Kidney Foundation.
Correct.
So tell us about, National Kidney Foundation. What's the goal of the National Kidney Foundation, and what do you do as a nurse, as a spokesperson?
They are about awareness, prevention, and treatment. It's a great organization that helps people with renal failure, people who have had dialysis, people who are on the transplant list. They help out with medicine. They help out. They have the kidney cards, so they give cards to patients who don't have one, so they can have a ride or to their dialysis or to their doctor's appointments, which I think is great.
Wow. So what does that look like? So let's say if I have a car in the garage and it runs, of course you want to make sure it runs, so I can just donate this card to the Kidney Foundation. Will they kind of fix it up and give it to a person so they can get to their treatment?
I believe so. I don't know the details as far as that, but I believe so. They'll help out and do what they can so they can have a running vehicle.
Wow. That's really good.
It
So
is.
we're going to put the National Kidney Foundation, where you can learn a little bit more about the National Kidney Foundation as well, at the bottom. And so again, we're going to also put it in the, the comments below, just to make sure that you know how to get in touch with the Kidney Foundation, and you can get a tax write-off for donating that car.
You sure can.
Yeah, and so I want to talk about too, what about screening? Do you screen people to, take a look at their kidney function?
They actually do that, which we're trying to reach out to the African American and Spanish churches, the community as well, so we can screen more people of color, because 1 in 4 has kidney disease, which is unfortunate. And they do it for free. You just have to have 50 people or more to have it done. Okay. And what they do, they test your urine.
So like, let's say I, maybe my job or my church, so I say, okay guys, if we can get 50 people, we can all get screened for free. Okay, so I'm gonna have also Tanysha's information at the bottom. So if you are in an organization, a sorority, fraternity, work with kids, or your job or your church or synagogue or wherever, you want to get some free screening, Tanysha can either do it or, get a team together and help you get that done, right?
And a disclaimer, we're not testing for anything else, like weed or drugs. We're not testing for that. It's strictly kidney function. We have a lot of resistance when we say, we're gonna test your, urine. So we're just testing strictly renal function, not anything else.
All right.
And they do your height, your weight, your BMI, your blood pressure. So it's a nice little screening that they have set up.
That's good.
It is. I love it.
That's good. All right, so we're gonna have to get that going. So you guys, let us know at the bottom if you want to do that. Of course, Tanysha will help you get that done. Now, why should people become donors? Because like I said before, you don't want to take your organs, especially your kidney and corneas and things like that. Right. You don't want to take them to heaven with you. Why should people donate?
They should donate because there's a need. There are people who are unable to work because of this, who desire to work, desire to play sports, especially children, to have a normal, as close as normal as possible. Thank God I had a huge support system. This is when I was 14, so it was at that awkward age. So because there's a need, and just to help people out to live a healthy and productive life.
Okay. So what if you have health issues yourself? Can you, and this is just donating in general. So what if you, have health problems yourself, and can you have a living donor? But sometimes donors, tell me about your donor, because you can have a living donor or whatever. What other kind of donor can you have?
It's 2 donors. It's a living and it's a cadaver, which someone who's passed. Mine's unfortunately a young guy. I think he was in his 30s. And I believe it was from a motorcycle accident. So that's how I received mine. That was a cadaver. But if you have a family member, some people have strangers that match. And they also have a program at Strong where, say, if your kidney doesn't match mine, they can find someone. It's like a switch off.
Oh, okay.
So both parties are receiving the kidney. So they have a switch off program too. So
wow. So I would say I am a donor. So I've let my family know that if anything ever happened to me, they are more than, they can take any, organs that they want, because I can't do anything with them. So I'm not going to take them to heaven with me, because I want people to be able to see. They can have my kidneys. What is it? Liver transplant, heart transplant, skin, everything. Yeah. So come on down and get your, So really though, it's really important that, we have these things that we can, help other people with when we, maybe, pass on. So, or if you have a family member who has an illness and you are able to give them a portion, of course, you're going to go ahead and get tested as well. Okay. So we're going to give you information on how you can donate. Now you can also, how do you sign up to donate? Like DMV, right? Don't they have like
DMV has a signing on your card for that.
And a form too.
There's a form.
Yeah. So if you go into your DMV, your website, like there's a New York State DMV, there is a site. I looked it up. I did my research. You can actually donate. You can actually go in and say, listen, designate yourself, and also tell your family members if something unfortunately ever happens to you, let them know, because this is New York State, especially, is a state of consent. So you have to have consent. Your family will have to have that consent. And even though they're going to be sad, trying to process everything, let them know, those that are close to you that can make decisions, whether it's a spouse or a mother or father or a sibling, or, let them know that you want to donate a body part, or an organ, not a body part, but an organ. But I mean, they donate body parts too.
That's true.
But really, just let them know, because you won't be able to give that consent. And so it's not anything that I think is taboo. It was taboo a long time ago, in the African American.
Yes.
Tell us about that.
Well, they believe that they can use them in heaven, and it's soul and spirit. So I don't think you require those. I didn't read that in the book of John, but yeah. And back to the consent. It's called a proxy, healthcare proxy.
Okay.
So you can talk to your doctor, or you're at the hospital about a healthcare proxy, and have that designated person to make that decision. Let them know what you want. So when anything happens, Lord forbid, that paper will be on file saying, okay, well, Tamika's my healthcare proxy, and these were the instructions that I gave her.
Yes. And you can designate what organ you do want to donate. So if you just want to donate a cornea, you can, and so it's up to you, so you can determine that. So again, we're going to show you how you can actually donate, and it's also called Donate Life as well. So you can go to Donate Life, and they will give you lots of great information about that. And so is there anything that you want to share with the audience before we leave today?
Well, also the National Kidney Foundation, they can give you information as well.
Yes.
The cups here. And just to have awareness prevention, and we're trying to inform, especially people of color. We want you guys to be healthy as well. And we just stress because working in renal and dialysis, we're seeing more and more people of color. I mean, we are full to capacity for all 3 shifts.
Wow.
And majority of it are males, unfortunately, now that we're seeing more males, which I will talk about in the Facebook Live on what's going on with that and the details of that. I don't think the guys are going to be too happy with the details, but it's something that's very important. Yes.
Okay, well, thank you so much. And again, don't forget to support those walks. Yes. We had a kidney walk this summer. It was nice. We're going to give you some pictures. We're going to show you some pictures of, what we did. You had a lot of people.
We had 50 or 60, I believe. Thank you guys for coming, who came, and those who supported monetary gifts and just supported. We had a huge support system. As a matter of fact, we didn't even know the CEO, remember?
Yes, we met the CEO.
Yes, we didn't even know who he was.
We raised a lot of money. There was a lot of money that was raised. Absolutely.
Yes.
And so, listen, you guys support the Kidney Walk, support National Kidney Foundation, and thank you guys so much. And ladies, we don't want to forget, if you are walking through a chronic illness, tell us really quickly, how do you do that? Because I'm sure that when you're sick, you don't, how you feel, encourage the, women who are walking through a chronic illness. What should they be doing?
First of all, I would say praying, but also keeping busy. How I walked through it was I helped others. So that took my mind off of what I was going through. Sometimes if you're so stuck on what you're going through, that's where the depression creeps in and that self-esteem issue. So try to find something that you're passionate about, something that you can do, something that you can help with the community. Because when you help others, then a blessing can come to you, and that's what happened with us, with me and my family. I mean, we were helping, and then we just got the call. So I really truly believe if you help others, it will return back to you.
Yes. All right, well, thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
All right, so again, we're going to leave all that information at the bottom. Again, we are celebrating Women's History Month, and I got a history maker with me today, and we're going to see more history makers this month as well. So thanks so much for joining us on Women Win Wednesdays. Don't forget to subscribe, and also you can hit me up on Instagram at Women Win Network as well. So thanks so much for joining us, and see you next week. Bye, guys.